8251 is a programmable communication interface. It is in short called as PCI. It is mainly used to transfer the data from microprocessor to any other peripheral which is placed at some distance. It is also called as USART. 8255 has a USART. Expansion for the USART is Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. That is, you can have synchronous transmission as well as asynchronous transmission using this 8251 IC. You can transmit and receive using two separate lines. This 8251, it's a programmable chip where you can set the mode, baud rate, at what speed the data has to be sent, in what mode the data has to be sent, whether in synchronous mode or asynchronous mode. Everything can be set. Therefore, it is called as programmable chip. It is generally called as synchronous and asynchronous serial data communication. It is called serial data communication, that is, the data or a character can be sent only one by one, not all together as 8-bit. So what the microprocessor will do is, it will send the data in parallel format as a 8-bit to this USART, that is 8251 IC. The 8251 IC using this USART, that is Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter option, it will convert that 8 bits of data into a serial format. Then the data will be sent one by one. Same way, while receiving the data also, the data will be received by this 8251 IC in a serial format. 8 bits of data will be collected, then it is converted into a parallel format, then it is sent to microprocessor. This is what is done using 8251 IC. And this shows the block diagram of 8251 IC. The main blocks are, you have a data bus buffer like any other peripheral devices, that is ICs. Then you have transmit buffer. Then you have a separate control block to control the transmission. Then you have receive buffer to receive the data. Then you have separate control block here for the receiver section also. Then you have modem control, read write logic. So this data bus buffer is very much important, because through this data bus buffer only data will be transmitted from the microprocessor to this 8251 IC through the data lines D0 to D7. It has 8 data lines. The 8 data lines will be connected to data lines of 8085 microprocessor, and through this the data will be transferred from the microprocessor to the buffer. Then you have read write logic. Already you know about this read write logic. The read line are connected to, since it is a peripheral operation, input output related operation, the read line will be connected to input output read of 8085 microprocessor, and write line will be connected to input output write of 8085 microprocessor. Then reset is used for reset the all the modes and control word. A clock is required, so the data is transferred only with respect to clock. Then you have one more line here, that is C bar D. C bar D represents that to select, there is an option given here, that is to indicate this 8251 whether you are going to give the command to 8251 or data to 8251 through the data lines D0 to D7. Command is used for giving the mode, baud rate, then what kind of transmission is going to happen, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, all this comes under command. Data is data to be transmitted to any other distance peripheral, that is data. So using this you can set whether you are going to give the data or command. When this line is 1, it represents command. If this line is 0, it represents data. Then you have this transmit buffer. I told that 8251 it is generally used for serial data communication. So data will be transmitted serially. The microprocessor will send the 8-bit data to this 8251. The 8251 will convert that 8-bit data into a serial format. Then it transmits the data or character one by one through the line TXT. TXT is called as transmit data line. Same way, while receiving also, you have is two separate buffer, one for storing the data which has to be transmitted, other for storing the data which is received through the line RxD. RxD is called as receive data line, through which the data is received serially, character by character. Then it is converted into a parallel format which is given to 8085 microprocessor. You have two separate control blocks, one to control the transmit operation, other is to control the receive operation. So you have three lines for transmit, that is TXRDY, TXMT. TXRDY is a signal given to the peripheral to indicate that the 8251 IC is ready to transmit the data. Then TXEMT, it is used to indicate the microprocessor that the transmit buffer is free to receive the data which has to be transmitted to the peripheral. Then you have TXC is transmit control, which is used to control this or set the baud rate, that is at what speed data has to be sent from the microprocessor to the any peripheral. Then same way in receive control you have two lines, that is RxRDY, that is this is used to give a signal to the peripheral that this is ready, this is our receive buffer is ready to receive the data. So the next character can be sent from the peripheral to the 8251 IC. Then you have RxC. RxC is used to set the speed for the receiving section. Then you also have a modem control. Actually, using this 8251, data is transmitted serially, character by character, through a telephone line which is connected to the peripheral. So this 8251 is act as an intermediator between the microprocessor and the peripheral, and from 8251 through the telephone line data can be transmitted. It is not a wireless communication, it is a wired communication through which data can be or character can be sent one by one to the distance peripheral using this modem. Modem is nothing, it is expansion for the modem is modulator, demodulator. The data that is coming out of the 8251 will not be compatible to send through the telephone line. So the modem, I am not going to explain in detail because in your syllabus you are going to cover only the block description of this 8251. So let me tell in a simple words that modem is something, a box which is used to convert the data in a required format to be transmitted through a telephone line. So that data will receive the receiver end to the peripheral. That is, you can turn on any lights or bulb using the microprocessor. So through microprocessor, you can send the control, either that like 0 can be represented to switch off the device, or 1 can be sent to turn on the device. Otherwise, any message can be sent. All these are applications of 8251. Message like WhatsApp message. WhatsApp, what we are receiving is a wireless communication, whereas this is wired communication. Like what to say? Let us take our institution itself. Any message can be displayed on the 7-segment display. Suppose in our department we have any 7-segment display which represents what day order we are going to follow. Those things can be sent from the microprocessor to the 7-segment display which is placed at some distance using this 8251 IC. Thank you, girls.